Thanks for keeping it here. I'm Victoria Idoni. Let's take a look at today's news in health. At 34 years old, Stephen Graham has already beaten the odds. Born with a heart defect, doctors predicted that he wouldn't live past the age of 30. Dedication to daughter Ari and wife Randy motivated Stephen to conquer his rare heart defect, even after his doctors said they could no longer help him.
Born with his heart in backward, Stephen survived surgery as a baby to correct a transposition of his great arteries.
Make sure that I am like a worthy example.
On today's National Day calendar, we celebrate the language of comfort food love with all things fried.
Welcome to December 2nd on the National Day calendar. See you again tomorrow as we celebrate every day.
Feels like it's about time for lunch. Thanks, Marlo. To find out what else you can celebrate today or in the days ahead, head on over to nationaldaycalendar.com. I'm Victoria Idoni. Coming up, I'll be back with national headlines. Stay with us. And it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. We've got a glimpse at some of our nation's most famous trees and some tips on safety when it comes to our own decorations. We've got those stories and more ahead for you, but first. Today, a West Point graduate gained his father's blessing to take over Cambodia. 69-year-old Prime Minister Hun Sen, who has held power for 36 years, plans to step down as of 2028. His eldest son, 44-year-old Hun Manet, is a decorated Army commander. He holds the rank of Lieutenant General and is Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Cambodian Armed Forces. He's also Deputy Commander of his father's elite bodyguard unit and Chief of the country's counterterrorism force. Two of Hun Sen's other sons were previously considered possible successors. And Michigan prosecutors are charging a teen with terrorism in a deadly mass shooting at his high school, a novel approach made possible by a law enacted after the 9/11 attacks nearly 20 years ago.
And Mr. Crumbley, could you state your full name for us, please?
Ethan Robert Crumbleigh.
Thank you.
Two separate videos recovered from Ethan's cell phone taken in a search warrant depicted a video made by him the night before the incident wherein he talked about shooting and killing students the next day at Oxford High School. Further, a journal was recovered from Ethan's backpack, also detailing his desire to shoot up a school to include murdering students.
The state's 2002 anti-terrorism law defines a terroristic act as one intended to intimidate or coerce a civilian population or to affect the conduct of a government through intimidation or coercion. Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald says it's not a typical charge, but says those who were shot aren't the only victims. Thousands of kids were terrorized, and while the official motive is still unknown, this was clearly not just an impulsive act. The judge ordered Crumbley to be moved from a juvenile facility to a county jail. He has pleaded not guilty. Charges are being considered against his parents as well. Now to the pandemic. As we know, not everyone is on board with the president's vaccine mandates. For many, it's not a matter of getting the jab or not. They just don't want to be told that they have to. But who's behind the push to block them? We have a look at a group made up of business and political figures that are fighting back on behalf of a wide range of Americans.
The U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has ordered President Joe Biden's vaccine mandate halted pending review. The request was made in a federal appeals court and has temporarily blocked the president's vaccine and testing requirements for private businesses. Under the mandate, companies with an excess of 100 employees must ensure their staff is fully vaccinated by January 4, 2022. The petition was filed by the Republican Attorneys General of Texas, South Carolina, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Utah. The court halted the mandate, stating, "The petitions give cause to believe there are grave statutory and constitutional issues with the mandate." Several private companies also filed petitions challenging the mandate.
The World Health Organization has allocated $12 million for Southern Africa over the coming months, following the discovery of the new coronavirus variant, Omicron. That money will support contact tracing and other procedures in South Africa, as well as supply medical oxygen to Botswana. Southern Africa has seen a 54% surge in COVID-19 infections over the last week, but it's still uncertain whether the rise is linked to the new Omicron variant or to other factors. The U.S. has recorded its first confirmed case of the COVID-19 Omicron variant in a vaccinated traveler who returned to California after a trip to South Africa on November 22nd. That person developed mild symptoms and tested positive Monday. Researchers at the University of California, San Francisco obtained a sample from the patient Tuesday evening and worked feverishly overnight to assemble the genetic sequence. We know that this person had both doses of the Moderna shot but had not been vaccinated long enough to receive a booster. The patient was identified only as being between 18 and 49 and is said to be improving. Also out of San Francisco this year is the Capitol Christmas tree. District Representative House Speaker Nancy Pelosi got the party started.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Michael! Yay!
This year's tree is an 84-foot white fir from the Six Rivers National Forest in California. The tree, affectionately named Sugar Bear, made the thousands-mile journey from California to Washington last month and has since been decorated with more than 15,000 ornaments, crafted by California communities. In remarks at the tree lighting, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who also hails from California, explained, "The Sugar Bear tree holds the most ornaments ever because it comes from the most populous state." The tradition of the Capitol Christmas tree began in 1964. The national Christmas tree lighting is tonight. Both the president and vice president are expected to be in attendance on the ellipse, along with their families, to watch it happen. Last night, tourists packed Rockefeller Center for the annual lighting of that Christmas tree. The crowd sang Christmas carols and screamed in excitement at the lighting of the 79-foot tall, 46-foot wide, 12-ton Norway spruce from Elkton, Maryland, which was strung with 50,000 multicolored LED lights and topped with a Swarovski star weighing in at 900 pounds. Those trees were set up by the pros, which is something doctors actually recommend we all invest in if we can, because hanging up Christmas lights can quickly lead to an accident if we're not careful. But they say at least enlist a little help.
The most dangerous part of that is the ladder and falling, especially when you're putting them up in these weather conditions where it might be cold, rainy, wet, or even icy.
Dr. Waters says the best way to stay safe is to only hang Christmas lights on the lower level, where you don't need to use a ladder. However, if you are going to use a ladder to set some up on the roof, be sure to have someone down below holding the bottom. As for other tips, he says, be sure to avoid hanging Christmas lights on anything that could be flammable, don't overload your electrical sockets, and carefully examine all of your Christmas lights and throw away any with frayed wires or broken bulbs. Now to today's entertainment report. Well, for a lot of people, this is exciting news. NBC continues the holiday tradition of presenting live musicals tonight.
I've got your entertainment report for today. I'm Eden Lane.
NBC is continuing the run of live musicals for the holiday season with a live performance of the beloved musical Annie on NBC. Check your local listings for details.
That's all for today's entertainment report. I'm Eden Lane.
Stay with us. Weather, sports, and more are headed your way. With your latest headlines, I'm Victoria Idoni. Have a thrilling Thursday.